everybody, and welcome. Excuse me, to the Switch Up panel, back to the real world. This is a follow-up panel from last year here at Stream Queens Con 2. What we're talking about today is the life of drag artists who are on Twitch, going back to performing. Last year we talked about going from performing, losing all our gigs to the pandemic, the Pandemic Lovato, the Kia Summer Sales event, whatever you want to call it. But now the world's back open, and so are our legs on the stage. So we have an amazing group of panelists that I'm going to introduce you to. But first, I would like to point out today, we're going to talk about us performing at venues and locations. If you know who we are and you've seen us perform live or you know our friendships, please do not tell anybody in the chat our locations or anything like that. We have chosen as a group not to talk about those. We will maybe talk about what city we're living in, but we're not talking about any of the venues we perform at or where we live or anything. Please understand that and respect that. If anything like that gets mentioned in the chat, moderators, if you could just delete that, please and thank you. But I brought an earthquake of a cast here today. Please welcome the titty shakers. I don't. Hey everyone. Most of you were on this panel last year, except Bella, who I think is probably the most booked bitch in this panel.
Yeah.
Yes, very bad. But I would like to start from the top next to me, all the way from a location in the location. It's Nersh.
Oh my God, I'm first. Oh, hi. Hi, everyone. My name is Inertia. Nersh, if you're nasty, and I hope you are. I'm a really hot state location performer. And I'm also a horror variety streamer here on Twitch. I stream once a week on Thursdays. That's when you can catch me. Other than that, I call myself the glamour clown, but I'm really just a stupid bitch with nice wigs. That's really all it is. That's all I am. And I'm really happy to be here and happy to discuss this. Hi.
Well, thank you. All the way from a different location. In a different location, it's a right. So obviously, internet
Live.
things happen in life. So we're just gonna keep to this screen. We thought we were being super technological, but let's just keep going. Bella, welcome back. Who are you and where are you from?
Hi, my name is Bella DeBall, everybody. I am from Chicago. I stream every single Wednesday here on Twitch with my bestie Sutton Fister for Dumb Bitch Wednesdays, and I perform 4 to 5 nights a week around the city of Chicago.
Awesome. And Queen Nikki Mirage.
Hello. My name is Queen Nikki Mirage. Well, my drag name is Nikki Mirage. I am a partner here on Twitch, and I stream 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I, since Pandemi Lovato has been letting up perform kind of sporadically right now, working my way back into it, but am performing live again at venues in a state that exists.
Is that my Bessie without a Tessie? It's a Minx Queen.
Hey, I am from a hot little state performing at the gigs pretty often, at least once a week, 2 times a week if I'm lucky. Yeah, just going full force back at it again.
The dab sent me through the roof. And I went all the way to Chicago to visit the one and only Sutton Fister.
Fuck Bella's drag. Hi, my name is
No,
Sutton
right?
Fister. My name is Sutton Fister. I am just a Midwestern mom looking to have a good time. Who's pretty good at makeup, but even worse at video games. But hi everyone. I stream on Twitch. I'm a partner here. I do things sometimes. Ever since my injury, I've been streaming a whole lot more. I got injured a couple months ago, but that's fine. But hi, yes, I am Sutton Fister, and I play games with all of these lovely humans. So hi.
Hi, and if you don't know me, I am London Bradshaw. I am the MILF of Twitch, not deer. You can call me Beer. I'm the black deer, whatever you want to call it.
Oh my god.
I am a video game streamer and a fucking full-time performer. Excuse my language. I perform 6 times a week.
Wow.
Sorry, 4 times a week, not 6, and then I stream 4 days a week as well. So last year we lost all of our gigs to the Kia Summer Sales event, the Honda Toyota-thon, whatever you want to call it, and all of us, we joined Twitch, and we talked about how the change from Twitch was a little hard, going from full-time to doing what we do online, not wearing, pads, wearing half drag. Who's wearing pants right now?
Not me.
Not me.
No.
I'm wearing a dress.
To be fair, I'm wearing a dress, yes.
Yeah, I'm wearing a dress too.
Just free
but I'm
flowing.
wearing gigantic boobs, so my body's giving you very Wendy Williams tease.
Oh, that's really that's. And so this year, as a follow-up, I thought it'd be interesting because all of us are full-time, and we are going from Twitch back to the real world. So we brought you some questions today, talking about that. If y'all can feel like you want to answer them if you want to. If not, that's totally fine. Let's just talk about maybe just going not off topic. Let's talk about how is it? Like, how are you managing as people from Twitch to full-time performing again? For some of us, I don't think we ever stopped performing through the pandemic, but for some of us, we lost like everything. So if you want to talk about that, we'll start with Nourish.
Yeah. So it was weird. Like, so first, how was it? How is it? It's great. It's wonderful. I've been doing drag for like 3 and some change years now, and from day one, I've been an IRL performer. So I missed it. So getting right back into it, it's like riding a bike. You just do it. And of course, it came with its challenges, like wearing, having to wear like giant face shields or like social distancing. But I'm sure we'll talk about that later. But in general, like, yeah, when the pandemic hit, I wasn't like at my prime. So I was getting gigs occasionally. I was just starting to get going. So it was like an absolute like pain in the ass because it was a complete momentum kill for like trajectory and stuff. So everything stopped, and Nikki was the one that actually convinced me to get on Twitch. So you can blame her. And so I started streaming because I was like, oh, I'm not doing drag anymore. I'm like, I would really like to do drag, and I had already been watching drag queens on Twitch. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Why not? And then through the pandemic, me and Nikki started Two Girls One webcam as a way to kind of like fulfill ourselves with some goddamn drag, because we were not performing. And then like as the pandemic kind of ended, they allowed us to go back into the clubs a little bit in some weird ways, but then it got shut down again. So it was kind of like a give and take type thing until finally they opened up. And it was slow at first, but I'm back to like performing. But I'm actually performing more now than I was when the pandemic hit the first time, like at least twice a week, like every week. So I'm like, I can't, it's great. So it's actually better than it was before. So it's doing great. It's doing great.
And you mentioned earlier, and I mean, we can talk about it one at a time when we're going. Actually, no, we'll wait. We'll talk about the mask mandate and performing. Yeah. We'll wait and talk about that because I feel like
that's a subject.
It's a subject.
Can I jump in with, because I have a very, very similar story to Inertia. Like before the pandemic, my momentum was going. I started getting booked more and more. Once that pandemic hit, yes, it was all gone. We were lucky to find Twitch. I was lucky to find Twitch, and you can thank Trashy for that. For me being on Twitch, because she convinced me to do it. But now that we're back open, now I have a regular gig and I'm getting booked far more than I was before, which is lovely. But yeah, it's just a momentum killer. Like it really was. Like, but now things are getting better. I hope.
You hope. I mean, I've seen, so I went to go see Bella and Sutton in Chicago. To visit for the weekend, and y'all are busy. Bella, you more than Sutton. You literally were like nonstop. You're like, I have a gig today, I have a gig tomorrow. I was like, okay, hey bestie, I'll see you when I see ya.
Pretty much. You want to come hang out with me in Chicago? You come to one of the shows.
Yeah. So how's it going for you personally?
Well, so before the pandemic, I was already working full time as a drag artist. So I was literally one of those who, once it hit, I like dead ass lost everything. Like I didn't have and like I was on payroll at the club I was working at. I was like supporting myself fully, and then all of a sudden it just all disappeared and there was no real like safety net, especially for drag artists. So I was really lucky that I was also able to find Twitch. You can blame Sutton for that one because she was the one who convinced me to start streaming. But going back has been difficult. It was difficult the first couple of months that everything reopened because we were expected to just snap our fingers and, oh my gosh, now you're back to 4 or 5 nights a week, and over the course of the pandemic, like things like obviously my body changed. It had been a year in lockdown. I didn't have a ton of drag that fit anymore. So it was a really big struggle to go back and do it full time. But now we've kind of found a happy medium where I still get to do what I love on Twitch, but we're back at those club gigs.
Yeah.
4 nights, 4 or 5 nights a week now.
Yeah. It's like your whole Instagram story is like gig. You know what I mean?
Another club.
Yeah.
Bus, plane, automobile, Uber, food.
I mean, some of us can take an Uber. Some of us can't drive Uber. Nikki,
yes,
you were on Twitch originally before I think any of us, honestly and truthfully.
Yeah, I was on Twitch about 8 months before the pandemic even started. So. And
now how do you feel?
Okay, so I guess my perspective is a little different. So I had been doing drag for like 7 years before the pandemic even started. And I was established in my town. I had a regular gig. I even produced a show there. So I was giving bookings out. And then I never performed full time because I was a PhD student. So I had to focus on school. So I did drag as a part-time gig. But I was established. I had been there. I had a show I produced. It was fun. Pandemic happened. I was already on Twitch. So it was no different for me, really. I just started doing drag more on I started getting in drag more often on Twitch. Because I wasn't doing drag every time I did Twitch because it was a lot. When the pandemic first started, though, Nurse and I decided, literally, like, as soon as everything went down, we started Two Girls, One webcam. So we were like, well, let's perform on Twitch and try to get the local people from our town to watch us perform because they can't see us perform. And we're, like, the only ones doing it in our town. Then I started that was the most regular gig I had ever had in my life because I was in a lot of gigs that were like oh, this show is every 2 weeks or this show is once a month, and you just add a few of those together and you end up performing like once or twice a week. But now that pandemic is, well, she's not over, but she's under control allegedly. I would say that I found a lot of success on Twitch over the last year, more so and more appreciation than I had ever found in IRL drag. So I've kind of taken the step into focusing more on Twitch drag, but I still do perform IRL. I also moved too, so I lost all the regular gigs I would have had. So if I stayed in the town I was in with Inertia, I would have been performing. I'd be performing just as much as her right now. But I slowly am working my way in, and I occasionally go back and visit the town she's in to perform. So my perspective's a little weird, but I know that's what I do.
Yeah. I mean, again, life has changed very much. Like Bessie with no Tessie, Minx over here, Dab Queen. You and I were on voice calls every night until like 4 a.m, and then once our gigs opened back up, we were both gone.
Yeah,
So, like,
we'd be
what's
like, I'll see you after the gig.
You're like,
We'll
bye.
be
I
back
mean-
on after.
We still do that in like a form of way because like we play like games at night. But like, what's been going on with you? You're back in the gig. Talk to us. How's Twitch been
Yeah.
treating you? How's the gigs been treating you?
So I've kind of like in the middle. I was kind of established already, and so I was, I had like a monthly gig and I had like monthly guest spots. So it was like I had them popping up here and there, and then once like everything opened back up, that's when I got offered to do more hosting gigs, and I got more consistent, and then I finally got casted in my weekly show. So I'm kind of in a place sort of where I'm more focused on like my in real life gigs,
Yeah.
just because that's what I did mostly, and I have more success with that, and that's how I pay my bills. So for me, it just made more sense to kind of focus on that. And I'll still stream. I do Twitch every now and then. I'll pop into streams. I'll play games with people, but I kind of focus more on the gigs.
Yeah. Is anybody else focusing more on the gigs rather than Twitch?
Very much me, just because that's how that's how I pay my bills. And I ended up I do Twitch because I love it. It's never been like a money making thing for me on Twitch, but at the end of the day, if I've got to go to the job, then I got to go to the job. So it's definitely forced me to take a step backwards from Twitch. Over the pandemic, I would try to do 3 to 4 nights a week, and now unfortunately I'm only doing the 1 night a week, but it's my favorite night of the week that I do, so I still have a blast with it.
Yeah. Nurse, you said kind of, sort of.
Yeah, it's weird because like when things opened back up and I started getting my regular gigs, I actually designed my Twitch schedule to fit around my gigs. So like I perform every Tuesday. That's the show I run, and so I would paint on stream and hang out, and then I would go do my gig, and that would be it. And then I would try to stream on Sundays, but I perform a lot on Sundays too. So like as time's gone on, I tried to maintain that when things were like there was a good amount of success coming my way on Twitch, but as things change rapidly. So like to me, it's always been as like a drag artist, I gotta put my effort and more my time where it's more worth it for me.
Yeah.
And so my IRL gigs are getting more and more frequent, and there's a lot of money to be made there. In Twitch, it's not quite as good as it used to be for me, so I've got to focus more on the IRL side of things. But I still try to maintain the Twitch because I love Twitch. It's a fantastic platform, and I love the community here. And I honestly don't think if it was for Twitch, I would even be like having as many gigs as I do now, or as confident, or like you get better. The more you paint, you get better at makeup, you get better at performing in small spaces, and so your performing gets better. And like because like me and Nikki, we never stopped here in our town. So like when things open back up, I was like, boom, let's go. I got my confidence. Let's keep going. Like it's just another day. And other people are just like kind of dusting off the costumes, and like they hadn't done it in like a year. So
I guess I can make a comment on that about Inertia specifically, is that like she said, she was starting to get her stride right when the pandemic happened. And then we started doing that weekly gig on my Twitch channel. And I feel like that really helped you like propel very quickly into even getting better then, because your makeup, say at the beginning of that gig versus the end of that gig, because you were then doing it so frequently, was so much better. Same for me, because I had never done drag that frequently until then either. So I guess Nurse and I took the pandemic as an opportunity to excel and
The practice, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of us thrived potentially in the pandemic. I know that my makeup was not it in the beginning, and I said, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to practice it. And now I can do a gig, like a makeup, like a everyday Bradshaw face in under an hour and look still decent enough to go out. You know what I mean? But like before that, I was like struggling, or I was on Twitch doing my makeup and I was like, I can't do my makeup on screen anymore. So anybody who does that, props to you. But like, there's too many people. It's like, I feel like it's an honor for you to watch me do my makeup. So for people to be like, but like for people to be on Twitch being like, maybe you should have done it like this, or maybe you should do it like that. I'm like, maybe you should not tell me what to do with my makeup and just watch and be like grateful that this is like my private time where I get to like sit down and relax and debrief, but I'm sharing it with you. So I just stopped doing that. But knowing that I have to get on Twitch every day and doing my makeup almost every day now because I'm full time is just like, it has changed very much so because we have to do it every single day. So a lot of you are back into the gigs. In the city that I live in, bars were like, I'm sure for everyone, bars were just like up the wall with people. And now it's like, you have to have a seat to be into the bar. So like, what is your money? I'm not trying to be nosy, but like, it's obviously, has it increased? Has it decreased? Are people more grateful to see drag? What's going on? Like when you're performing live, like for me personally, you see the regulars and like you can't really like tell people that it's okay because there's standing room, because like gigs for me there's no standing room because the mask mandate and the mandate and stuff like that. So like, anybody want to speak up about what their gigs look like before and after now, you know, going back into it after we've dusted off the makeup?
Yeah, I mean, so Chicago's kind of been like very wishy-washy and back and forth with a lot of the rules and the mandates. So we had right when everything opened back up, everybody had to be seated at tables. They couldn't walk around the bar. The bartenders had to come up to them. All masks had to be worn inside, etc. And then all of a sudden, it was like a light switch where one night I'll never forget that it just said, okay, no more restrictions. And so I work at a 4 a.m. bar too. So we weren't allowed to be open past 2 a.m. And then I remember literally from that 2 to 4 time, I was like standing on top of like the go-go box with a microphone, like yelling at people like, okay, if you're vaccinated, get into the middle. There's no more restrictions. If you're not vaccinated, get out of the fucking bar so that we can all take our masks off. And then a couple months later, we went back to the mask mandate where there's no capacity restrictions. There's no like tables or anything, but you're supposed to somehow enforce your guests in the bar to wear a mask. So it's been so like wishy-washy and back and forth. And I honestly feel for a lot of these bars because the cities and they just aren't giving the tools needed to enforce a mask mandate. And ultimately the performers and the bartenders and the bar managers are the ones who get screwed at the end of it.
So what do you think about masks? Do you wear them while performing? Are you supposed to wear them while performing?
So we don't have to wear them while we're performing. If we're on stage doing our number, we don't have to wear them. When we're walking around the bar though, we have to at least have the little like plastic face shield things. Just while we're walking around, whenever we go up to the bar to order a drink, etc. But yeah, performance-wise, we don't have to wear them anymore.
And talking with y'all before this, it was kind of just like, Nersh came up with this, like, you made a really good point if you want to bring it up again about like, who is it protecting if the patrons don't care about us? Because
it's weird. It was like when we first got back, they're like, wear a mask. And I said, well, yeah, duh, of course. I'm like, because we don't want to shut down again. That's the impending fear. But now it's like I personally, when I perform, I don't wear a mask, and it's because when you wear a mask, it's to protect the people around you from you. None of the people at the bar I work at wear a mask. None. They don't even wear a mask when they're walking around. It's all, there's no seats at my at my bar, it's all standing and they crowd around. It's like nothing changed. It's very, and I know that's what it's like everywhere else. Like, because I've seen the videos and stuff like that. As soon as the mandates went away, everyone went back out to the clubs like nothing had happened. Like there wasn't a pandemic. I mean, like there were nights where I was like disinfecting my money and stuff. Like that's how paranoid I was about like not getting sick and not having the gig shut down. And now no one wears their mask. So it's like, well, I'm not going to wear this face shield that messes with my lashes and messes with my hairline. And like, because we get tipped based on how well we do and how good we look. And if I mess with that look and people think it's weird, I'm not going to make money, but yet they can still get me sick because they're not wearing a mask. So it's like, how do you know, what do you do? You know? Yeah. So it's like the bar doesn't enforce it anymore unless they have to. And then when they enforce it, you know, they barely enforce it because no one listens. Everyone wants to they drink and they think they're fine.
Well, let's be real. There's no mask mandates here anyway,
no,
where we are.
So it's like, who is it protecting? It's like, so, you know, ultimately the drag queens are the ones that get yelled at anyway, you know? So if someone gets sick at the bar, it's probably the queen's fault, according to the public. It's not the patrons who aren't wearing masks. It's our fault somehow. It's our fault. Even though the drag queens are the ones who are doing the most to take precaution because we, you know, like I still have people who put money in their mouth and try to get me to take it out with mine. And I'm like, no.
I'm like, absolutely not.
Like, are you fucking stupid? Like, what is going on? Yeah. So like that, it doesn't like us wearing masks don't protect, like it doesn't protect me. It just actually makes my job harder. If they were all wearing masks like they were supposed to, and when they were, I was, but no one wears masks. So I don't either. But I also take precautions, you know, like, I made sure to go back when I was vaccinated, double vaccinated. You know, I'm getting my booster soon too. Like I'm doing what I can.
I'm thinking about putting money in my mouth and I'm like, dang, that's how I got COVID. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not trying to get into anybody's personal lives, but has anybody, because they are a performer and this is our job, have they gotten COVID? From performing? You don't have to tell us if you've gotten COVID at all, but like from performing.
No.
Raise your hand. So like,
I don't think it was from performing. I think it was honestly. So it's weird because Lyft still in the app tells you to wear a mask and that your driver wears a mask and everything. And there are some drivers who are so lax about it and it's like off their nose or whatever. And I know they're not sanitizing their cars afterwards like they were before. And so I honestly think it was one of the Lyfts that I caught to Pride, or maybe it was at Pride, I don't know. But one of my drivers that I had like a fabric cover on their sheets and their mask was like off and it was just kind of like sketchy. So yeah, it's really weird. I still wear a mask like when I'm out shopping and like lifting and whatnot, but when I'm performing I don't wear a mask. So who really knows where it happened? I'm fine now. Double vax, but you know, it's still happening.
Double vax, double wax.
It's like I wear a mask everywhere, like Walmart or shopping or going out. But then the second I get in that bar, I'm like, no one in here's got a mask on, so what's the point? Come on, Pfizer, let's go!
I'm not messing up my contour and everything, my mouth, makeup.
I'm like, even if I'm just going as a pedestrian, I'm like, well, no one in here has a mask, so me wearing one is not going to do anything to help me, so whatever.
Yeah. And I mean, I asked this question and I was like, are they gonna want to answer this question? And no one said anything. So now I'm glad that we've heard about it. So if there's anybody watching in chat that goes to drag shows, wear your fucking mask, please. Because like, please, like we're asking nicely. I know I just said fucking mask.
Don't put money in your mouth.
Don't put money in your mouth.
Please don't put money in your mouth.
Just don't be gross. Don't be gross.
We said fuck so much last night. It's fine.
So going back to like what Nurse, you said it's like it's messing with your money. Minx, is it messing with your money? Is it seating only? What's going on?
So we're still doing, I mean, we just started doing standing room in addition to reservations maybe like 2 or 3 months ago. But before that it was reservation only. But I think people were excited to be back at shows. So like my tips were, I was doing well. I mean, I don't know if it's because I'm more consistent with the gigs, probably, but like I'm doing a lot better now than I was pre-pandemic. And it's nice to be able to like actually invest in my drag and be comfortable and not have to worry all the time. And I got a raise at my shows too, so it's like it's nice to see that change.
The raise thing, I think about, I had just gotten a raise right before the pandemic started, and then gone. I had just gotten a raise for my booking fee at my bar. Then just all my gigs gone.
That's the worst.
That is something that I do think is interesting, though. Is it does seem post-COVID, or I know COVID's not over, but post-lockdown, it does look. I mean, to me at least, it seems like there's more of like an appreciation
Yes,
for
people
drag.
love drag.
So a lot of clubs and honestly a lot of patrons too, at least in my experience, have really been upping it. As far as like tipping, attending the show, a lot of the clubs have been reopened, especially here in Chicago, have been reopened to discussing performers' booking fees and getting, you know, it used to be like a standard like $75 for a gig. Now some of these performers are getting paid like 150, 200 for some of their shows. So it's been, yeah.
You said a standard?
A standard? That's the 5-year veteran fee at our bar.
$75 is a 5-year veteran fee. Also,
You can't even make this shit up.
Yeah.
Where we
No,
were, like,
our bar owner, Nurse Shania's bar owner, is the cheapest man I have ever met in my fucking life.
we start at $25 for a 2-number show. When you
Oh,
when you're
absolutely not.
booked and blessed in our town, they're like, "Congrats! Here's your $25 check."
Oh,
and then, well, then you get 50, and then
You
you
get
said,
50 for like who knows how long.
for me it was 5 years, and then they were like, "Here's your $75 check," and I was like, "Oh," and then COVID.
well, actually, that we're out of time. That was our panel for our undertaking. Just kidding. No, that's wild.
Now I'm embarrassed.
all of-
No, it's
Don't
fine.
be
Good. It's
embarrassed.
good that you're making
That's
that kind of
good.
money because it means you can do this as a job.
I just hope that more bars and like bar owners understand now how important drag is, because they lost so much, and like when they opened up they were struggling, and I've seen so many more bars now do shows that they weren't doing before, and they're kind of just like using it as like a money grab to pull people in. And I'm like, I hope you're using that extra money that you're getting to pay your entertainers and actually like appreciate them, and not just using it for your house or your whatever, your like own personal stuff, because it's happening. I know it's happening. There just needs to be an appreciation for drag, because
yeah.
they can't deny that the drag is the reason why people are showing up to the bars.
Son, what about you? You are a full-time content creator.
Yeah.
Before we get to Sun, I just want to say this. Prico Latino says all money has traces of shit in it, so don't put money in your mouth anyways.
We're not,
London.
Right?
we're not going to talk about our bar owner's pool.
Son, what about you? You are a full-time performer. What does life look like before and after? And you became a full-time content creator / performer in the pandemic, and then you had something bad happen. You want to talk about that?
Yes. Yeah, sure. So yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, before the pandemic started, I was starting to get bookings more. I had a weekly show that I hosted, and then once pandemic happened, everything just went gone. So I started on Twitch and I became a full-time content creator. And I have found, as Nikki said, I have found more of appreciation for my drag here on Twitch, and so have been more focusing on Twitch now, even that the pandemic is over. Because I feel like I am more, I'm more booked and blessed on Twitch, even though it is my channel. But after that happened, though, after the pandemic ended, we went back. Bella actually was the first person to book me after everything opened back up. And then I started working at our bar as a bartender. And then me and Bella now have a weekly gig together because of working there, I feel. So I've gotten that now. I judge a competition show on Thursdays. Here and there, I'm actually there January and February next year. It'll be every Thursday. But one Thursday, though, during that show that I was doing, I was dressed as the Penguin from Batman Returns, doing This Is Me from The Greatest Showman. And I stepped back and I ruptured my Achilles. So that I had that take away all my gigs again, kind of. So that really, really put a damper on me and put me in a really, really bad headspace. But luckily I had somebody who was able to help me and get me to places. And like I said, I'm hosting that show with Bella. So Bella catered to me at the show to help me out. And it made me start streaming again more. So I'm like streaming like 5-6 days a week again.
Yeah.
But I mean, like going back to like the whole money thing, I started performing after I injured myself on a scooter, and now I'm Chicago's scooter queen. But the money that people give you when you're injured because they feel bad feels so great. I'm just scooting around doing Rolling in the Deep, you know, or like
Oh my
Proud
God,
Mary. And they're like, oh my God. It's been great.
I hate
Bella
it.
is the bestie, though.
Bella is the bestie.
Bella's the only bestie.
Bella got me booked in Chicago, and I was grateful.
I did.
So thank you. For
I did,
that.
and you killed it.
You did.
Yeah, I did Welcome to the Black Parade and threw my wig across the room in front of like the Vixen, the whole house.
Uh-huh.
Of Fillets.
Yeah, it
I
was
like,
amazing.
oh, okay, no big deal. There's just so many fucking Drag Race stars in here. I want to go back and talk about this money thing where people are getting underpaid in drag because like where I live, I get paid and I'm not brag. Oh, not my nipple coming out.
Ooh.
Just gonna cover it up right here. Can we just like go back and talk about you two bar
Yeah.
siblings? When I perform, I think we pay the gals minimum $60 a number. So usually the girls are walking out with $150, and the brunch show that I host, the girls are walking out with $100 a number.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. I had to fight because I went back for a gig in July this year because I waited to go back to IRL performing fully until I was vaccinated because I said I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna get vaccinated, and then I'll go back. I went back for a gig in July, so I needed gas money this time, and I said I need $100 to pay for because I got the raise right before, and I need at least $25 to pay for half of my gas to like get there, and I had to fight for that. Like,
That's wild. Can you like? I'm not afraid to talk about money with people and be like, "Hey, thank you." I feel like that's like one thing we should do, and I mean, maybe you should start like a council where you live and like talk about it because we started a council.
they've joked about like people. I guess queens in that town have talked about it a little bit.
But it's not gonna work.
It's not going to work because they already had to fight to get a new air conditioner unit put in the dressing room. It's literally the bar owner doesn't even turn the AC on in the building.
No.
So it's probably about 100 degrees in there when we're performing.
Not that. I sweated my makeup off this week.
Literally, it's hot enough where like I have to plan to do the numbers that I want, like a styled wig with first, because by the time I'm done, I'm sweating so much that I can't glue my lace down. It's too much. So I have to wear like a straight wig or something just to throw on. But no, it's not going to work because there's only one bar that does like, well, there's multiple drag gigs in the area, but there's only one bar,
consistent.
and it has been there forever. Not that that's an excuse, but the problem is if I go, well, I don't want to work here for what you're paying me, some other drag queen who wants to get their foot in the door will take a $25 gig without hesitation, and then they'll take my spot, which, you know, when there's only one bar, it's like I'm not losing that. So and the bar owner knows that too, because it's ridiculous. It's like, so like when I started my show is like the highest paying per number show in where I live, and I had to host the show for over a year to even get that. Like we weren't paid. It was a free show for probably a couple months. No one got paid, not even me, who put it on, hosted it, ran it, booked the girls, like none of it, or the entertainers. And then finally I got a budget, and I still didn't get enough to, like, in my opinion, to like justify it. And then eventually I got it because I had to literally sit down and get numbers and be like, I had to have a business talk and be like, we're making this much on this night. And I asked for a $5 raise, just $5 per entertainer to get it, just $5. I wasn't asking to double the pay, and that was a struggle. So it's like when Nikki said Nikki had to fight for $100. I've been working there for three and some change years. I'm one of the most booked people at this bar, and that's not a bragging thing or anything. It's true. I'm there all the time, and I still can't even get $100 per booking. I get 75. They won't raise it. I don't know how many more years they want me to work there until I get it. So it's kind of ridiculous.
84 years, Nish. 84
Literally, I
years.
go out of town and get 100 at minimum. I'll go out of town and get 100. I have like an out of town gig coming up, and it's at minimum 150 because they understand. So I don't get it.
Yeah, Nurse, Also, because she's very talented. She managed to get that $75 raise very quickly. I was working at that bar for about 5 years until they decided to finally give me that raise. Like, and I don't know a single queen there other than the show directors that make more than that. I think that is like the max they will pay someone who's just doing a gig is 75.
Unless they come from out of town or something.
So this is
Which is
why
ridiculous.
this is why I talk about unionizing drag. So where I live, and I'm sure most of you had saw it on Twitter, Twitch, wherever it happened. We have an impersonation show here where they do die-hard impersonations, where they're contracted not to do impersonations outside the bar that they work at. They rehearse like 3 days a week. There's lightings, there's fans, there's aerial, there's everything. We never see the girls there because they're so busy and they work 4 days a week. Literally, they asked for a raise in the pandemic and they all got fired because they asked for a raise. And then they replaced all the girls with no hesitation. So then we unionized our drag here. The unionization is like a little because it's just drag artists who want to do whatever. So we're still working on it. But this like kind of goes with my question that I wanted to ask you all in our post message group before the panel was if someone like, for instance, Eve had asked they want to go perform live in their city. We were on a call the other night, and Eve wanted to be like, how do I get out there? So if there's someone who's never really performed that is on Twitch, what is some advice that someone could go out there and talk about, like, what is some advice that you all have from being Twitch streamers going to live performing? Because one, we don't want people to get underpaid because we can get potentially we could get sponsorships up the yin yang on Twitch, depending when they are available or when the time comes around for us. And those pay decently more than, obviously a $25 2-show booking, which $25 for two numbers at 6-minute numbers. I'm still thinking about that's an absolute no for me.
That's the starting rate.
I'm not. It's the starting. It's not like.
The established rate is 50 though.
But I will say, I lived in Atlanta when I started getting my bookings at the bar, and I used to drive to maintain my status, so I didn't lose my gig. I drove from Atlanta to where I live, which is a 5-6 hour drive, 4 because I speed, to get a $25 check when my gas was $80.
Jeez, oh Pete.
So it's like it was not worth it, but it was worth it in the end. It was like an investment. But I feel like drag queens should not have to make that kind of decision.
Yeah.
Like bars are making bank off of us, and they learned that through the pandemic. So there's no reason why they can't afford. If they can afford, why, it's this whole thing, like you can afford to pay someone with a contract from Drag Race $4,000 to show up and do their numbers, but you can't pay your cast $100 a piece at minimum.
Oh my
It
God,
doesn't
you
make sense.
still-
Especially if you're
that.
selling out. Especially if you're
Very
selling
that.
out weekly, there should be no reason why you're seeing a loss in income at all.
And this bar has people.
Oh,
It's
I
like-
know
and
damn well that bar makes enough money to pay its drag queens
More than
at least
enough.
$100
And
each.
I know it's not just this bar though. I'm not just shitting on.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
the
yeah,
one
yeah,
here,
yeah.
But
No,
there's
it's
a lot
a
of places
problem.
where bar owners are really cheap with their hometown entertainers, and that's it.
I think it's a problem everywhere, and I think this is why I feel this expectation of what drag should be or should look like is really hard because not everyone is getting that same booking fee. So it's hard. Sometimes I'll have to work a couple gigs so I can finally afford to get a new fit or a new styled wig. It's not just something I could easily dig into my purse and be like, all right, let me just buy this really quick. I have to work for it essentially,
And I mean, we're doing things for instance, for me, I have to work my ass off to get a new outfit and a new wig to pay for the photo shoots that I do every month, because I do those photos on Instagram once a month at least. But you have to work your ass off to do that. So going back, what is something that you could tell a new performer from Twitch if they ever want to do drag and go out there and perform? What is some decent advice, whether it's hey, don't get fucking underpaid, or hey, don't put your drink next to the urinal. Hey, don't put money in your mouth because there's shit on it, even though we all eat ass. I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying?
I would say, having this whole conversation, sometimes I forget how lucky I am to live in Chicago because it's really such a huge epicenter for drag. So a lot of our starting out shows now post pandemic are actually either paid opportunities or slightly comped opportunities. I know a lot of the starting out shows here will start paying amateur performers or someone who's coming out for the first time like a travel fee. So like, okay, you're gonna come out here, we're not gonna pay you for the gig, we'll cover your Uber, we'll throw you like $25, whatever. So I think we're very lucky that we have something like that. But what the advice that I would give is don't over invest in your drag when you start it, because especially if you're living in like a super saturated, super competitive city, you're not going to start making money in drag until a couple of years into it. And what I would almost recommend is, instead of like saying that you need to perform all the time, half of the battle is knowing people and meeting people. So the more that, I hate to say like go out, meet people, because that's not a financial option for everybody. But the more that people can see your face, in my opinion, even if you're just, hey, I'm just here hanging out. I came to have a drink and I just want to like meet people. If you can do that, then that's going to help you progress further down the line. But yeah, that would probably be my biggest advice, is don't overinvest yourself, because if you're operating at a loss, you're going to want to stop doing drag way faster than if you're just, I got myself a $20 romper, I got myself a $30 Amazon wig, I'm living my best life,
I mean, I've been doing drag.
Oops.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I've been doing drag for like 4 years and I still buy shit off of Amazon.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, this is like, I'm literally wearing an Amazon dress. Like,
Same.
it's like, yeah, that's don't overinvest in your drag, especially to start.
Also, I
This
just like,
fit brought to you by Shein.
Yes.
it's so cute though. It's so cute.
It's cute.
It's cute to mix and match. Also, I never want to hear someone tell you, be like, it's not okay to buy on Amazon. I'm like, especially if you're a Twitch streamer, I never want to hear you say that it's not okay to buy from Amazon until you do your research.
Listen.
My response whenever I have
let's shop in a-
people.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. Like the thing that like gets me is there's people who are like, if you're gonna wear it like to walk around, don't wear it on the stage. And it's like, well then increase my booking fee then if you want me to wear something glamorous, like custom made. If it's that much of a problem to you, and pay me more and I'll like invest in better stuff. But also, I've always heard, support the shows that you want to be a part of. It doesn't have to be financially. But again, making yourself known, networking online, figuring out who the hosts are, just support the shows that you want to be a part of, because that's really, especially to show hosts, that shows a lot and like how much you want to be a part of it.
Any advice from the sibling bars?
I know I got like two perspectives on it. So from the journey, like to start, is exactly what they've already said. Don't invest too much in your drag. Go buy, I'm not even joking. Go buy a $5 bathing suit from Walmart and go on Amazon and order a $10 bag of stones and some E6000 from Michaels or something. And boom, you got a costume. You'll make money off that. You'll make more than you paid on the costume and tips because you look great and the costume looks great. And then you buy another one and you keep it going. Like invest, you can't invest too much money in your drag when there's no opportunities, and there's not going to be opportunities unless you ask for them. And then that's like the biggest piece of advice I can give. Do not go out and in drag and you're like, oh, I'm tipping around in drag, so now I have to get booked. That's absolutely not the case. You have to meet the show host. You have to support the show. But that doesn't mean you have to tip all the queens. Don't feel like you have to pay to play. You don't. Go to the shows, support the scene, be known, but do not expect. There's this culture right now that I'm noticing where these new queens will show up and they just expect bookings and they expect everything. And you have to work just like everyone else. You have to work very hard to get established in a scene. We're oversaturated. There's millions of drag queens and they all want the same gigs. So it's it's like impossible to get to get a weekly show or a standing gig. You're very lucky. When I started, I got once a month, maybe, and it was a hot spot. It was not a booking. And I was grateful. And I would take the money I got in that and I would invest it in another costume for my next month if I got it. And you just, and you get to know people and you build networking and families and friends. And eventually, your friend that you make, the drag queen who has a show, they'll pass you an opportunity and you take it. You don't think too much about it. You take it and you just go forward. And then the other big piece of advice I give people who are starting is don't let other drag queens dictate what you should be doing. Don't tell, like, if they say you're performing too much and hogging all the gigs, well, that's just jealousy. If they tell you you're not performing enough, well, that's none of their business. That's your business. If they tell you your costumes aren't good enough, well, tell them to go fuck themselves. Like, it doesn't matter. You know, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you wear or what hair you have, as long as you have the passion for it and you are putting effort out on the stage, it doesn't matter. But a big one, don't listen to other queens.
Yeah.
Right.
I wish.
Also don't measure your levels of success with other people's levels
Exactly.
of success. Just because somebody's like there's a brunch that we have here in the city, and one of the drag queens who hosts it works that brunch once a week. She makes $1,000 a week doing her one brunch. Like, the days that you work, the amount of times that you're booked doesn't, like, success doesn't equal each other. And so if you yourself are happy with the progress that you're making, if you're happy with the success that you're having, then that's all that matters. You can't look at somebody else and be like, well, damn, well, they're working 5 nights a week and I'm only working 4. So I'm not successful.
Yeah.
It really comes down to art, because like I think you just have to strip it down. It's art.
Yeah.
Drag is art and entertainment, and almost it's theater, it's art, it's makeup, it's everything. And if you get to a point, because I've known people who, and even I got to this point, like I would have performed so much that I felt like I was losing what I love about drag. So I toned down my gigs and I toned down some streaming because I want to enjoy what I do. You know what I mean? So you don't have to perform every day of the week to be successful. I know people who perform once a month and it's sickening. They make a good amount of money, but they don't care about the money. You should never care about the money. Even if you're making it your full time, it's tricky. And you risk losing your love for drag when it becomes a job. But when it's a hobby and it's something that you want to curate and get better at, that's how you have to treat it for a long time, I feel like, before it becomes lucrative. Because Bella said, like, years. It takes years to make a profit. You don't turn a profit in drag for years unless you are so blessed or lucky.
I think
I
one of
feel
the.
like you should.
Oh, go ahead. Nope. Go ahead. Nope.
I was gonna say, yeah, I agree. I feel like you should always start drag. You should always start drag as a hobby, for sure. And then if you find success, and if you work hard and you believe you will, then you can look into making it like kind of a career.
Yeah. I definitely think one of the biggest things that have frustrated me lately is listening to other queens, and I wish bars did that as well and not do that when listening to other queens. For example, I had a cast spot that was offered to me by someone who was supposed to be the entertainment director at that bar, and another queen said that I wasn't prepared to be in that cast spot. And I was like, okay, you've never seen me perform. You don't come to my shows. You don't support me as a person. My makeup has definitely increased, so how would you know that I wasn't ready for that show? Also, not being braggist, and you can ask people who live in the city, I think I'm one of the most booked people in the state that I live in because of Twitch and because of this. So it's like, how could you not know I was ready? And why are you listening to other drag queens who are jealous because of something like that? It's like, that sucks now that I just lost out on income because someone told the bar owner that I wasn't ready. So it's like, please don't listen to queens. Do what you want to do. And yes, money isn't the option, but like, it's tricky and it's a risk when you're full time, because it's like, I need to save that money in case I get sick, or if I can't go out, or if COVID, prevents me from performing and now I don't have money, because Twitch is a risky thing as well when we lose out because people are out in the open again. Nurse, you were going to say something, and then I have a interesting subject that I want to bring that I didn't write down on our paper, but I want to talk about it.
I was gonna say drag queens don't have insurance. We don't get benefits. And I think the whole idea of unionizing and stuff, like, there's a push and it's coming. I feel it. But we get sick, you're out, you're done. You don't get money, you don't get benefits, sick days, holidays. I'm sorry. It's like
you miss out on that gig, and then you have to like spend the next couple weeks to like pick yourself back to where you were.
do know.
You have to. It's like I mean, I've had times. I used a couple like months ago before I got my like full time like out of drag job. I was doing drag full time and it was paying the bills. I was blessed, but I got sick or something and I missed a gig. I'm like messaging show directors to get a hotspot, not for a booking, for tips, because like you have to. Your money is like your bills and what you have to do to live on, and it's like it's the struggle of an artist. It's like people don't understand when you come for stuff. That's why queens fight so bad. When you come for their gig, you're coming from their livelihood. They're like their ability to live and survive.
Sutton, what did you have to do? How did you feel? Did you have to feel like you had to rush to get back after you injured yourself, or what?
I mean, yeah, like once the injury started, like I said, it put me in. Once the injury started, when I had the injury, it got me like in my head so bad. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like I also lost my job because my like out of drag job because I'm a bartender. So like I can't work with that. So like yeah, that's why I rushed back to like coming back to Twitch to like stream even more to try and see what I could do with that. And yeah, it's been really the injury has been really rough when it came to the money thing. And but yeah, I tried like I searched and got like a scooter and I got a thing so that I could like go out and still perform and still try to do these things. Like I had been booked for a gig months before I injured myself, but then I injured myself and the girl like messaged me and she's like, "Hey bestie, like are you okay?" I was like, "Yes, I was about to message you. I'm still doing it. I don't care. I'm going to be professional about this. I'm not canceling this gig because I needed that money for rent, you know?"
Yeah.
But yeah.
A question, Nikki. Did you have anything you wanted to input? I know you.
No,
you're...
no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You let us know.
I don't think. No. Continue the panel.
Make up
We're
your
good.
mind, Nikki.
No. I think I wanted to talk about. I didn't write it down, but it's something that I really, really want to talk about. I had someone come to my chat and tell me I banned them after this, but they came in. They're like, "I wish you were in drag more." And then I thought to myself, "Wait, hold on a second. I perform 4 days a week, okay, and I stream 3 days a week. So if I had to be in drag every day, how many days am I out of drag? 0. So what do you all think about the balance between picking and choosing when you stream in drag and having to be in full-time drag? Because that's like probably the biggest thing that I personally go through, because I'm not going to be weird about it and I'm not going to be uncomfortable. If we're on the subject of money, more people attend my streams when I'm in drag than when I'm out of drag. And I know that people are like, "I will always support you," and I'm not being shady to my community. I love my community because I think there are a great amount of people now that support me no matter what. But there have been in the past, I would say, that people were like, "I'll support you no matter what," but they only come in when I'm in drag.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I-
I'm doing it because it makes me happy. And I know you all have fucking opinions about this because it is very hard. It's very fucking hard to be a full-time performer going out every single day in drag when you have to be in drag because that's the job. You can't show up. You can show up to stream out of drag, but you can't show up to a gig not in drag. So it's like, what is the balance and how does the balance work for you all? Like, what makes you decide that you want to stream out of drag or like give your face a break? Like, what do you all think and what are your opinions? I would love to hear it.
That's the thing. I feel like people forget how intensive it is. It's not just like the makeup. Like for me, my skin is so sensitive. I can't be putting a razor to my face when I like barely have any hair, but I have to because my hair is so dark, so I have to shave like whatever I have. So I get razor burns and it's like really sensitive, and then putting makeup on top of that, it's just gonna fuck it up and clog my pores. So like for me, it's just more like a like comfortable thing, and I don't know, I just don't want to risk it, and it's just a lot. And also makeup's expensive.
Yes.
It can be expensive if you're going through it. Powders and liners and glue and everything, like it adds up. And so I feel like people forget those things. They just think, oh, you just like slapped on makeup, like it's easy because you do this all the time.
Yeah, and I mean, like for some of us, Twitch is a job. I know there are streamers in the chat right now where it's a job, but some of those streamers have days off. You know, we perform full time, so it's like I mean, Nurse, Nikki, Bella, Sutton. Picking and choosing mental health over makeup. Makeup's expensive, especially when you're not getting it in return. And I'm not saying that chats need to subscribe or pay biddies, but like it's kind of like
But they do. Like, if you're gonna ask me to put on makeup, then you need to pay for it. I get booked to show up in drag, and Twitch is a booking. That's how I see it. You know, like in a sense, like when you start asking us to get in drag, not when we get in drag. You know what I mean? And you're like, you're not in drag enough. I go, well, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to help me get in drag? Where's my incentive? You know?
How much money do you think is on your face right now? As for you, like,
girl, I'm cheap. Well, although my foundation's expensive because I use Dermablend because I have really bad skin.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that gets on really smooth for me, and that's still questionable.
Yeah.
but it's like eyeliners, eyeshadow palettes. Eyeshadow palettes, if you find a good one for a bargain, $20 maybe. If you get any cheaper than that, it can get a little dicey because you could hurt your eye. Lashes, like the pack of lashes costs $10 and it'll last like a month. Bonding glue is cheap, even though we shouldn't be putting that on our eye. Like eyebrow pencils, brushes, like they all add up. You have to like, I run out, like this week I'm in drag. I was in drag Tuesday for a show, and then I'm in drag till Saturday. I'm going through so much fucking foundation this week alone that I'm gonna have to restock tomorrow because I'm already out. Like I'm running out. I was running out from before, but I didn't plan on doing that till next month, you know, and that's like $40 right there. So it's really annoying.
Yeah.
So it's like I stream once a week and I am in drag, guaranteed. So if you're like, when I was streaming on Sundays and Tuesdays, back when I had, when partner was dangling in front of my face and I could just barely touch it, I was streaming 3 days a week. And I would do one of them out of drag. One of them would be just getting into makeup, and one of them would be pure makeup. Like I'm in drag, boom, you got me for hours. And it felt like I was losing my momentum. I would get really close to achieving it on Thursdays when I would be in drag. And then Sunday, I would completely fucking lose it because I'm out of drag. And then Tuesdays, it would be like not enough because like people showed up at the end when I was finally in face, but not when I was getting into it. So I was like, what do you want from me? You know? Yeah. So it's like, it's a balance. So I ended up just prioritizing 1 day a week in drag. Don't ask for more unless I want to give it to you. And I also think it's complete bullshit that you can't. So I see these partners on Twitch who are working full time, who are in drag almost every single time they stream, and they have to apologize on Twitter for streaming out of drag. That makes no sense. The content doesn't change. Give them a break. Like you shouldn't have to apologize for not wanting to get in drag unless you're canceling a gig, which you're not though. On Twitch, it's your art. It's your
hour. The product.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's crazy, you know? Yeah. Like I've never seen people apologize to like strangers on the internet for doing something that's so uncomfortable. And anyone who says that they sit in drag on stream for hours and it's comfortable is lying. You sweat like crazy. Wigs hurt, give you a headache. Eyelashes are so fucking uncomfortable. It's like, no, you want to take a day off? Take a day off. Don't apologize for it.
Someone literally told me the other day, they're like, you look tired. I'm sorry, my wig is pinned into my head and my bra strap that I don't need to wear on stream is literally cutting into my sides, and I'm a bigger girl, so it's like, if you sit here like this to entertain you, which you're not talking to me in chat, then why am I doing this? Nikki, Nurse, Bella, what are y'all? I know Nurse, sorry, Bella Sutton, Nikki, but I know Nikki was gonna say something. My bad.
And me and Nurse are the same, so
yeah. Same hairstyle, same titties.
Yeah.
I was gonna say because I've been doing drag basically as my main job. It's my main gig, and I managed to pull it off because I used to only do drag once a week, and I'd be up here out of drag the other 2 days a week unless we were doing something special. And about a month and a half ago, I was realizing that my out of drag streams, the numbers, which used to be really good, were plummeting. And I think that's just due to people kind of going off the platform altogether because people have got real lives now. They're going to work. They're tired at night. They're not going to watch a stream. They're going to go to bed because they got to go up and go to work tomorrow and all that. So I have been adding more drag streams in because I was losing money and viewers when I wasn't in drag, and now I'm burning through foundation faster than ever. So it was. I have noticed there's a definite difference. I love the members of my community that are there for me no matter what. I call them the real MVPs of the community because they're going to be there when I'm in drag or out of drag. They don't care. They're there for me. I love them. Some of them are in the chat right now. And then there's the people who will show up, and if I'm doing my makeup on stream, they're like, "When are you playing a game?" or "When are you doing this?" But I'm like, "You want me to be in drag?" But then you complain when I'm getting in drag. And then
make it make sense, Mary.
It's a double-edged sword. Like, yeah, right?
It's like, I'm like, well, I didn't have time to get makeup before stream because it takes me an hour and a half, 2 hours to do my makeup. I didn't want to do it before stream. I wanted to make it part of the content. And then they're like, oh, well, we're bored. Where's the video game? And I'm like, but that's another topic. That's a little off topic. But yeah, I know I definitely had to I had to add more drag to Twitch in order to kind of keep what I had because there's a definite discrepancy, even though it's the same thing and it's the same humor, it's the same gameplay. Just, I guess I look like this sometimes.
Yeah. Bella,
I think
Sutton?
it's important for people to remember that there's a person behind the face.
Yes.
And sometimes that person has to put themselves first. Like
Mhm.
last night, I was like beating myself up for hours because I hadn't streamed in 2 weeks. I had my one night that I was going to do it, and I was sick. So I was like I forced myself to get into drag, and I forced myself to stream, and it like made me more sick today. So it's like sometimes sometimes you have to take care of yourself, and that goes for in real life gigs too. Like after the pandemic, I started realizing that like the 5 days of drag for me on my body and everything was a lot, and I wasn't taking care of myself outside of drag as well. So out for my in real life gigs, I condense them. I still do the same amount. I still do 5 shows a week, but I condense them down to 4 days. So I moved one onto the same day just a little bit earlier so that I at least have a little bit of time for myself. And unfortunately, if I want to add Twitch to the mix of it, that's why I only do same as Nurse. That's why I only do the 1 day a week, because I know that if I'm only doing 1 day, I will get into drag. But I would get the same thing when I was doing Wednesdays and Thursdays, because Thursdays would be my out of drag stream, and people would just be like, "Well, I wish that you were in it." And I'm like, "This is the 1 day that my skin gets to breathe. Can we just let it happen?"
Yeah. Son, what about you?
Well, first I have to apologize. I think Bella is sick because I forced her to do shots last night. It was Dumb Bitch Wednesday, so I mean, obviously, my bad. I'm sorry. That's why Bella is still sick. But no,
Yeah,
I would always feel such a guilty doing an out of drag stream.
Mhm.
Like I like that's what like I apologize. Like I would apologize in Discord and be like, hey, sorry, like tonight's gonna have to be an out of drag stream. And I still get that, even though like I feel like I have seen my numbers. They seem similar to when I'm in drag right now. But I got to the point now that I have a scene set up to where I have like a Discord picture. So it lights up when I like talk of me in drag. So that when I'm doing like an out of drag stream, I don't have to be on camera because I feel so bad that I'm as boy, you know what I mean? But I mean, I'm streaming so much more now that if I have that 1 day that I want to be out of makeup, I'm going to do it. Like, just let me be out of makeup. Like, it hurts. Makeup hurts.
Literally.
It hurts. Definitely, like, I think for me personally, it's like I bully myself to get into drag, and I literally text Lesbiana like every night. Should I get into drag? Because Lesbiana mods for Sutton and Bella and I and Minx maybe. But it's like I text them and I'm like, should I get in drag? 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 And they're like, well, if you're not feeling it, don't do it. And like I think I'm at this point where I don't care. But like earlier this year, I lost a friend because I got compared to other people in our community because I could maintain like I couldn't maintain a schedule of what's going on between Twitch and in-person stuff. But also I think the difference is like I have in-person stuff and the other people just streamed on Twitch. So I'm here balancing of what I'm going to do in person and on stream. So I just couldn't mentally keep up, and it like took a toll on me and put me in like a huge depression. So like it's just like a really big advice to please give drag artists a break, because anybody who doesn't do drag can literally put on a nice shirt from their closet and like brush their teeth maybe or comb their hair and get on stream and smile. We literally, if we're not streaming drag, we literally have to start 2 hours earlier to just be on time to maybe a decently timed stream. I know that some of us live on the East Coast, some of us live on the West Coast. I live on the West Coast, so for me to catch my community that's like on 3 hours later, I have to get on earlier, which means I have to start drag 2 hours earlier than that. So it's just like, please give us a break. Understand that we're trying our best, and we also have in-person gigs that pay more because this doesn't pay that much. Brush your teeth maybe, you know, after putting money in their mouth and eating ass.
Oh God.
So how do we feel about like digital drag and like Nikki, Nurse, you both perk up. I'm screaming.
Like, ready?
You both are like, you're like earthquake. how do we feel about digital drag? Because I think I use this as an example. Like Bitch Pudding has really found a way to make their drag live look so flawlessly good on stage with the microphone, the settings, the sound, and things like that. You, Nikki Nersh, have the only live digital drag show that where you don't have drag videos, you actually have people in their cameras dancing behind in front of a green screen in their homes across the world. So how do we all feel about digital drag, and like do we want to continue? Is it going to continue? Is this the crossover where Twitch is like the home for digital drag, whether it's like in-person drag on a camera or doing at-home live drag? Like what do we all think? Like, is it hard? Is it easy? Do we want to continue? Like, where are we at?
I personally love digital drag, and I will say that I found I think what Nersh and I have developed with Two Girls, Two Webcams as a live digital drag show is more fulfilling almost, and it also pays more than a pre-recorded digital drag show, because you can spend 6 to 12 hours editing this drag performance and then maybe make $10, whereas it feels just more fun to have these 6 people get in drag at the same time and perform live on Twitch. And it's like, as we always say, it's like the closest to a club gig you'll get on Twitch. And it's less work, but it's almost more fulfilling. And I think people like the fact that it's live, because then they get a chance to interact with me and Nersh directly. And but I still like a nasty little pre-recorded number 2, because you can do a lot of interesting, fun things with it. And I don't know, I think it's fun. I think I enjoy it personally, and I will keep doing it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think it's all about it, like accessibility, right? Like
Yeah.
I love that. So Luke Me, who's member of the team, Fabulous Drag Alien, he does a show called Queeried every single Sunday. And in addition to the show being performed live at the bar, the show is also live streamed on Twitch. With like a tip pool for all of like the contestants and the open stage people. And I think something like that is really fun, because at the end of the day, reaching a broader audience is not a bad thing. And it just gives, drag should be for everybody, and drag should also be for people who aren't allowed, like maybe not aren't allowed, but who are sometimes physically unable to leave their homes, who in the time of COVID might not feel safe leaving their homes. So they should still get to enjoy the art of drag. And so I think shows like what the two of you are doing, shows like what Luke is doing, where you're still getting that club experience, you're back to in real life gig, but you're also providing an experience for people who wouldn't be able to see it otherwise.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
you know.
So that accessibility is so important, because people are seeing drag shows now, or they were seeing them more frequently a few months ago, but they're still seeing drag show. People are getting to see drag shows that may not be able to ever even seen one before, or can't see ones because of safety reasons, or can't see them because they have other issues going on, like maybe their disabilities, so they can't go to the club, or they don't have a scene near them, and they get a chance to show up and turn out for a drag show when they never could have before, or they just accessibility.
Sutton, Minx, Nersh.
I would love to figure out a way to stream our live shows. I haven't found a way how. I know that during lockdown, we went to our home bar and like it was just us, and we like streamed it live on Facebook. So I would love to try and figure out a way to do that again and stream it on Twitch, because I think our show is like really, really good, and I want more people to see it. So I think, yeah, like just following back with everyone saying, I think what Nikki and Inertia are doing are really amazing. What Bitch is doing is amazing, and I love that she continued to take her gig from online Twitch, like digitally, like with the pre-recorded numbers, to actually at precincts, weekly. I think it's really fun.
I think personally for me, I'm not done doing digital drag. I've actually been working on a one-woman show for this whole year.
Ooh,
yes.
That comes out next year. Because I think when I started the team, I did one and it was 11 videos just like me, and this next one's gonna be like about my mental health through the pandemic for the whole year, and I'm just like super excited because it's just like I wanted to be a video hoe. Like I've always wanted to be in, like music videos, and the girl dancing on the car next to the hot black guy. So we'll see how that goes next year. But that's why I just have stopped turning in music videos to like digital drag shows because I don't have anything that I want to show off yet, and or I don't have anything new to show off. So yeah, I stopped that. We about have 15 minutes left of our lovely panel, and again, thank you all for doing this. If you're not following any of the dolls here, please make sure you're following Nourish, Queen Nicki Minaj, Minx Queen, Sutton Fister, and Bella DeBall. All drag artists here on Twitch. My last question, I think that we have time for, is our mental health, we talked about it a little bit. What is our mental health performing live and streaming on Twitch? Oh my God, what are you all doing? Yeah.
Sorry, Mom.
Sorry.
I'm over here talking.
It's got off the rails. It's got off the rails.
I looked up and I don't know. This is why I love y'all. I will never do this. I'll never not do this panel with any of y'all because it's I was so excited. I was like, we're back again.
I know, right? A little follow up.
Yes.
And make sure your internet didn't go out this day.
Oh my God, let's celebrate that.
We still have 15 minutes.
Actually, it was my internet that went out. You know what I'm saying? Or something. Last year, Minx's internet crashed.
Why would you jinx us within the last 10 minutes?
We'll see y'all.
How is our mental health, and how do we feel about performing live and streaming on Twitch? Are we I just want if it's, I'm not asking to get in deep, but I want the audience to understand that sometimes Bella said give us a fucking break. Nurse said, fucking, if you're gonna ask us to be in drag, you better be there to support us, and you better subscribe because it's not free. Where are we at? Sutton earlier said breaking my ankle or Achilles. Miss Hercules over here was I'm not in the greatest the greatest space of the heads. So where are we at with our mental health and having to balance between the two lives that we maintain to make sure that we make a living, to make rent or buy food or things like that every day?
Just mostly talking in real life, I've been doing so much better now that I'm able to be back on stage. That's where I thrive. I get so much adrenaline feeding off the energy from the audience. Doing the shows before, not being able to interact with the crowd or anything was so bizarre, and it was just something that was missing. So having that back, I just feel I've been a lot better mentally. I just feel it fills a void that's always missing, and so I'm just grateful to be back on that stage, and the fact that we sell out every week. I'm super grateful for everyone who supports us and is excited to see us no matter what we do. It's been really, really nice to be back.
Nurse, I know that you had you had a little pointy finger that you're listen here, my pretties.
I wanted to clear. You said something and it dawned on me. What I said earlier, that if you're gonna ask us to be in drag, you gotta pay us. But payment isn't just money; it's also being there. I think I didn't want it to make it sound you have to pay us. Not everyone is able to do that, but literally being in a chat is so valuable. You don't even understand how valuable it is. It's if you could tell, you told a drag queen, we could get 75 people in a chat, but we won't pay you. They'll be yes, let's do that for a little bit. That's
totally
valuable.
fine.
I'll take it. But mental health wise, I think I agree with Minx. Being back on the stage is the best thing that could have happened. I was going stir crazy. I was Twitch is fun, but I was I miss even when we were doing Two Girls One webcam, I missed people because a lot of performing for me is doing the thing, but as I'm grabbing tips, I'll talk to people, interact with people, and I miss
flirt
those
a little
moments.
bit.
And tipping out after the show, around in drag and meeting people is the best part of drag for me. That's how you build your fans. That's how you build networking, and it's just fun. Literally, I like the gig, but I like getting drunk after the gig more. That's my favorite part. But I also think mental health wise, Twitch is Twitch. I was never I never had issues with my mental health in drag until I got on Twitch. I loved it. It was a double-edged sword because I loved what it was allowing me to do, but God, does it hurt, because it's especially when you're going for these partner pushes and stuff, this idea of partner and numbers is so painful. And I've seen so many drag content creators or queer content creators, but specifically drag, take it so personally. Like if you're like really close or like you want to get it and it just doesn't pay off or it doesn't happen, it's like, well, is my drag bad? Am I not entertaining? What's going wrong? Why are they not showing up? So it's like I never questioned my drag until that happened, and that's why I like prioritize my mental health now. One stream a week, all I can do, focus on my IRL gigs, get my fulfillment. You should always just be fulfilled, but that Twitch is really painful. It's really difficult too, and I think there was this beautiful pocket of time where during the pandemic where there were so many people on Twitch. That's the time to do it, and now it's like we're kind of reverting back to where it was, and it's like you just got to keep doing it and not be discouraged. So it can be a little painful. So like that's where I was mentally. Just to add that.
I think I applied to partner 8 times. And I think I was like not gonna be like weird about it. I think I was like in like people's inboxes like being hella depressed, like hella sad, hella depressed. People re-edited my application like 6 times just to make it like seem decent enough. And then I think I finally was like, I'm on a fucking billboard, make me partner, thanks. And then 2 weeks later, they're like, okay. And they're like, we can't have you on the front page being partner. I was like, okay, well, I'll be your first black drag artist who's partner. So you better make that happen or you're racist. And then a day later.
I feel like
yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I feel like content creation is such like a roller coaster of mental health, because it's kind of like when the highs are high, you feel amazing, it feels great, and then literally the next day it could be like, whoa, because, and it's just it's a fun little, I don't know. I feel the most fulfilled I've ever felt in drag being a drag content creator online, but at the same time, when the lows are low, they're low. So it's just kind of how it is.
Yeah.
I love what I do, and I love my community very much, and I very much appreciate every single one of them. Like I said, those ones that are there every time, they're like the MVPs of anyone of our communities. So,
yeah. Sutton.
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely feel my mental health is a whole lot better being live, because I'm a comedian and I do comedy, and that thrives off laughter. Like if I'm doing a number, like when I was doing when Digital Drag started, I'm doing a number for Instagram Live, and I'm not getting a reaction to a joke or something that was in my number. Like I'm messing up. I'm not a good drag queen anymore. Like, so being back live in the live gigs, having that audience laugh at you makes it so much better. And then with the injury, you know, like I said, I got back into my head about it, but I used it. Like I said, I was on a scooter doing Proud Mary, like rolling on the river. Like or I did like Shut Up and Drive, like because I just want to make people laugh. Like that's all I want to do. And so like, I mean, I'm excited. Like next weekend, I'm probably gonna be performing Nancy Sinatra's "These Boots Are Made for Walking" because I'm walking again, but I'm in a boot. It feels good to be back live and making people laugh. But I mean, I get that from fulfillment on Twitch, which I love, because you get that live reaction in the chat. You don't hear it, but you can see it. And I like that.
Yeah. To be fair, I think you're probably the funniest person to play games with, and I'm like,
Okay.
I roll my eyes up half the jokes you make because you sit there and wait for me to laugh, but I'm just like, I don't want to admit that
because
she's funny.
Because she knows she's funny.
She's funny, but I don't want to admit that she's funny.
She knows she's funny, so she's waiting for you to laugh because she knows it's a good joke.
But you can catch Sutton and Nourish on a comedy panel tomorrow, correct?
I'm also on that panel.
I'm sorry, I didn't know who was on it.
Nikki said I'm also here.
Nikki said, fuck my drag, I guess.
Nikki said you're very funny as well.
Yes, I am hilarious.
Yeah, do you want to show us what an earthquake looks like? Or
Oh my god! Oh my goodness, an earthquake!
Oh shit! Oh,
It's transferring! It's going around! Oh no!
The fact that I just had boobs on, I said, and then I got like 20,000 views on TikTok. Thank you.
But then it gets reported
That part!
by me.
Oh, true.
not by you.
I guess real quick, one thing to add is that I will say that when I did my first live gig back after like almost a solid year of just doing Twitch, it was some of the most fun I had in that entire year. Live performing, nothing really quite beats being a live performer and performing for a crowd and feeding off that energy as a drag queen than that. But
Yeah. I think
Also, my mental health is great.
yeah.
oh, is
Bella,
it period?
Bella, did you want to talk about it?
I didn't get to answer, but that's okay.
No, we're not
That
done.
was great.
No, we have time. We have a couple minutes. You can say how you feel.
No, yeah. So it's I mean, kind of in a similar way, to everybody else. Like going back to doing live drag was obviously really, really exciting, and it really like put me back initially into a good state. The thought of it, but like I said, over the course of the pandemic, especially me, my body changed a lot over the pandemic. So there was also a lot of like going back to it. There were a lot of really negative mental thoughts that came with going back to live drag, just because like I looked different, I had to I performed different, and there's nothing wrong with that because everybody's body fluctuates and changes. But I don't know, it literally took me like a couple of months and a few virtual therapy appointments to figure it out and find a way to like go back to being okay with myself. And I think there's a lot of people, like I know we talk in my chat all the time about bodies and like weight and stuff like that. And I would just encourage anybody who, if they are out there and if they are like feeling that, even no matter what you're doing, if it's going back to drag, going back to your actual jobs, whatever it is, I would just say that know that you're not the only one who feels that way. The pandemic really screwed a lot of us up, and yeah, it's okay to also have negative thoughts about going back to IRL stuff.
Yeah.
That's all.
I think once I stopped caring about what people thought here on Twitch and just fucking did what I want. Like I play Fortnite and it's the happiest I've ever been. Like sniping and setting people on fire in that game and just like casually sitting there in drag and looking hot, knowing that person's probably either 12 or like a straight man. And I just took them out, with my full breasts out, you know what I mean? It's hot and it's fun to me. So it's like my mental health is great after you just realize that doesn't matter what, as long as the chat's having fun if you're having fun. Usually
Right.
People say that you have to play Dead by Daylight to be something, but I'm like, I can play Fortnite, and like literally my chat would rather watch me play Fortnite than Dead by Daylight lately, and Animal Crossing. We won't talk about that. That's game set me on fire. But I think that's all the time we have today for this panel. If there are any last pieces of advice or things along with where you can find yourselves, let us know. Advice from Twitch to live or live to Twitch, or a piece of advice for being a drag artist on Twitch and where we can find you. And then we'll head straight off. Nurse, do you want to go
Great.
first?
Sure.
Not this, Minx.
We're just doing the closing statement, right?
Yeah!
Oh, okay. Well, again, my name is Inertia, Nurse on Twitch, Inertia other places. It's confusing. I'm confused too. You can find me on Twitch once a week on Thursday. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all of that, YouTube, all that stuff. It's all in my bio on Twitch, so just go there if you want to find me. But I had a pleasure doing this. Thank you for having me.
Bella motherfucking the ball.
So yeah, you can find me here on Twitch at Bella DeBall once a week, every single Wednesday for Dumb Bitch Wednesday with Sutton Pfister and normally some conglomerate of the other stream queens. And then yeah, you can catch me here in Chicago. Go to my, was that an actual word? Did I
No,
make
you
that up?
said no, you didn't make it up.
Okay,
That's
good.
a
I
word.
thought it was a real word. Thank you
It's a
so
word.
much.
Ask
Very
Dr. Moran.
Very educated, thank you. And then if you're in Chicago, bitch, you know where to find me. Illy Besties. Thank you also for having me on this. This was a blast.
Nikki.
Oh yes, hi, hello. Oh my god, no. My name is Nikki Mirage, Queen Nikki Mirage. If you're nasty, that's Nurse's thing. And you can find me on twitch.tv/Queen Nikki Mirage. All my information is there. I am pretty much Queen Nikki Mirage on every platform: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, please. And I am Nikki Mirage live on Twitter, but follow me. I had a lot of fun being here today, and I really enjoyed this discussion. Also, thank you, London, for putting this together.
Yeah. Mix Queen.
You can find me at Minx Queen on everything. I stream occasionally, but I'm always in these trolls chats just hanging out. And yeah, thank you, London, for having me.
Not this.
Not the troll.
Not the trolls.
Love y'all.
And the love of my life, my It Takes Two partner bestie Sutton Fister.
Which we need to finish that game.
After that elephant died, bitch, I'm not playing that game.
Yes, my name is Sutton Fister. Just, like I said, Midwestern mom. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Sutton Fister. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, not Discord, TikTok at It's Sutton Fister.
Yeah.
Because some twink has Sutton Fister on Twitter, so I had to change everything to It's Sutton Fister. So that sucks. But yeah, go give me some follows, have some fun. Yes, also London, thank you for having me. I always enjoy anything we do together.
And again, my name is London Bradshaw, and we are actually, before we go, we're actually going to give everybody an example of what an earthquake looks like. So you can catch me on Twitter,
Perfect.
Instagram, and Twitch. And yeah, show us what an earthquake looks like, everybody. Oh my god!
Oh my
Good night,
gosh!
everybody!
Oh, I didn't even having an earthquake!
I'm having a wonderful time.
Bye.
Are we offline?